The Way of Will John.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We're here. It's good old Will John and J Mike just hanging out. What's up, man?
What's up? Excited to be here. Good
Yeah.
to kind of see you again. It's not as good as having the real deal, I guess, but this is these are the times, right?
These are the times, bro. I mean, maybe we just have to get used to it for a little bit. I don't know. Like, what are you gonna do?
It looks like it, man. It looks like it. I think you just gotta get the best out of it. Really, it's a bad situation, and I think we're gonna get more into it, but it's just one of those times where you just have to go with the flow. I guess there's not much you or I can do about it. We just have to make the best of it. Somehow.
Yeah, I honestly, the way I'm looking at it and the way I feel about all this now is that I'm tired of juggling toilet paper because I never started juggling toilet. I can't do it. I can't do the toilet paper thing. I'm okay because you know me and you know how I am training wise. I will find a way to train no matter what. Whatever my
Absolutely.
situation is, I am gonna get it in. I'm gonna get soccer in. It doesn't matter. So in that sense, I've been preparing for this my entire career. So I'm sure there are guys that are literally bored at home, but I mean, you knowing me, like I'm not bored at all. I got plenty to do. I don't know how you're doing.
I mean, I think, see, that's the thing. You're probably also, with your versatility, you've been basically all over the world and you've been used to situations changing all the time, right? I think what you're saying is true that for someone like me, I've been doing the same job for 12 years now, and I've been playing for the same football team for 12 years. So this whole disruption is different, and of course it's difficult. I'm in a lucky situation. I can still go to work. No one's at the office. I have my studio all by myself, so I'm good. But in terms of getting, playing actual football, it's tough, man. It's tough. I
Yeah.
go for a lot of runs, and I'm doing pretty well. But it's
Right.
just actually playing with your teammates and having that understanding. The keeping up your game intelligence, that's the tough part, I feel. Because yeah, you can go and stay physically fit and you can keep your touch somehow on the ball, do a lot of little footwork, but it's the whole mental side of the game that I think is gonna hurt a lot of people. Because
Yeah.
you lose touch with, you stop thinking football the same way, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is that like I don't give a shit what anyone says. You can laugh at me all you want. I'm playing football games in my head. Like I'll before like I'm dreaming of I dream about football normally, but like I will sit down. I haven't been watching a lot, to be honest, because they're all trying to catch me in by classic games or
Mm.
watch this. Yeah, and I enjoy those. I love all that, but like I'm playing games in my head, like visualizing things. Like that's just kind of it's a natural thing. I do it before games. It's kind of a visualization thing. Like we did a video talking about that stuff, but
Mm.
that is you're 100% right. The one thing that everyone's going to be able to do push-ups and sit-ups at home. Everyone's going to be able to juggle a ball, but you're not getting game time. Well, the only place to get that is in your head. And I kind of do that. And it's just like, why not? I take every single one of these opportunities, any sort of pause, any break, any sort of setback like this, as I figure out where's the opportunity in this and how can I use this to my advantage. And I've just, I dive straight into something that I think I might be able to do. And that's visualization. Fine. Why not?
But the thing is, and that might be what separates like a pro footballer from like a decent amateur footballer like me, is that I also visualize a lot. I also see myself. If I'm in this situation before a match, I think, okay, if I'm in these situations, how do I solve these things? How do I constantly improve? What can I do with these situations where I perhaps didn't perform as I should have in the last match and all that stuff? I think sometimes I also believe I overthink it. But I think the difference is that you actually, you go out and you do it, and because everything comes so natural to you, because you are a much better football player and a much more natural football player than I think someone at my level would be. So I also think a lot about it. The thing is that I can't, I think, apply it in the same way to my game as you would be able to, because it is more, I don't want to say natural to you because I know you work a lot
Do
to
you
it.
feel a disconnect? Like, are you trying to say you feel a disconnect somehow? Like, I can,
I-
because first off, you're knocking yourself. People I have trained with Jay, he knocks himself all the time. He talks about how he can't pass and he can't run and he can't do all this. Well, I have gone to his training and I have trained with this team. Okay. Well, the first day we were slipping and sliding all over the place. In Denmark, they have some sort of special ice grass like that they're just hiding. I don't know. We had the nicest shoes of everybody on the team and we were falling down left and right. It was ridiculous.
ridiculous.
But all that being said, you have excellent game intelligence, especially for in the position you were in. Did you start at left back or right back? That
Right
what was your
back, yeah.
natural position? You started at right back. Like
Yeah.
you understand what's going on. Like I can understand what you're trying to say and saying that you feel sort of a disconnect from what it is that you see and visualize in your head into what you do in the game. But I think it's one of those things where we all, you've done a great job at your job and what you do and understanding and getting yourself enveloped and involved in the game. I think it's one of those things of where we're very critical of ourselves. You're someone who's ambitious, who's doing a lot of things, and and so anyone who's like that is generally harder on themselves than the outsides. Because if I listened to just some tape of you talking about how you play and then saw you, I wouldn't. It doesn't match up, man.
but that's the thing. Every time. One of the last training matches we had before the whole lockdown came, I was put through on goal. I basically had a guy chasing me in the back, and because he was too close to me, I decided to pull a little bit to my right, and it ended up with me being closed down before I could take a shot, and I was really, really annoyed by that. And I kept thinking about it after the match. What could I have done better? The thing is that it doesn't come, I think, as natural to me in those situations where I don't react instinctively to some of these situations. I don't pull off a croqueta as instinctively as I think a lot of the other players on my team or you would do. It's just I wouldn't call it a disconnect, but it's just somewhere in my mind where I'm a little bit too slow in some situations. But of course, as you play more and I put myself more in these situations, it comes more naturally. Maybe it also boils down to the fact that I was a goalkeeper for the first 15 years
Oh
of me playing.
no!
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
you
So,
really?
yeah, I was a goalkeeper. When you
Maybe you
play like
mentioned that.
7-a-side, I used to be a goalkeeper. Then we moved to like senior level and played on 11-a-side goals, and I was simply too small, so I had to adapt.
Okay. Well, I mean, that does make sense. I'm glad you came away from the dark side. I'll make sure to tell
Oh
Tyler.
yeah.
Tyler's you're gonna grow in Tyler's eyes though, or maybe not because you left. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, I get it. I get it entirely. But I think it's interesting, and that's the real discussion there that we're having is one of nature versus nurture, and how much of it came naturally to me. One of the things that's hilarious is actually my dad, who's right-footed, obviously, in the level that he played, Nigerian national team player, and played pro all over and stuff like that. He wanted me to be left footed. Now, I'm right handed, okay? And growing up, all he did to make me left footed, as we say this, is pass the ball to my left. Encourage me when he'd pass, he'd just pass it. I mean, he has enough, obviously having enough technique to make sure that he doesn't just keep kicking it to the right. He'd set up little cones and things like that for me to dribble to the left. And so there is this one I can remember. I was probably 10, maybe maximum 12, when we were doing a shooting drill, and he was the coach of our team. And I felt the urge, like, how natural it feels for you to go write something down. You use the hand that's most dominant. Well, I kept feeling like I should be going to my right, and he would always just pass to my left. And I just seemed like I don't. And he just goes, "No, you're left-footed." Like he just told me, "Nope, you're left-footed," because he knows lefties are a little bit more dangerous. They're a bit more rare. It's definitely like that. So, I just the is it more natural, or did I just train myself? Because my right foot, shooting wise, I shoot excellent with my right foot. I
Oh, you
like
do?
and
Yeah.
prefer to shoot with my right foot. Bend the ball, dribble, that's my
Yep.
left.
Yep.
So I don't know.
But it's funny. A couple of the guys I know who are ambidextrous,
Mhm.
can use both feet. Would say the same thing, that they were actually probably naturally right-footed, but they prefer to do some things with their left. And then of course it's the opposite for you. But they would say that they shoot harder and shoot better with their right, but they're more precise and more accurate with their left foot for some weird reason. Now I wouldn't
Yeah.
know anything about that because my left is dead. But but the thing is that and I know we talk a lot about how you can go out there. You have to do a lot of self training. You have to do a lot of repetition to improve as a football player, right? But I think a lot of it also comes down to, I don't want to say talent, but still I want to say talent, because there's this thing that's hard to put your finger on, where either you have an understanding for the way the ball moves, or you don't, and it's something you have to train. Let's take Gary Neville, for instance. Like,
Yeah.
Gary Neville was not a talented footballer. He was a very good footballer indeed, but he was because he worked his ass off, right? Whereas someone like Ryan Giggs, just taking the Man United team, is he just, it just came to him. It was so natural. It was second nature to him, and he, of course, he trained a lot and stuff, and he worked very hard. But some players out there just have to put in a little bit more work and use their intelligence and the fact that they are able to think football. Whereas some other people simply just get the ball and they just run with it like they've been running with it for 20 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I 100% know, because what I can do right now is put us up, and I haven't had this discussion publicly, but this is a perfect time to do it, because the fact of the matter is Messi versus Ronaldo is truly an example of someone who seems like a gift from God, and someone who decided that I'm just going to work hard until I can figure it out. And that's Ronaldo. And, so no one's saying that Messi didn't work hard, and no one's saying that Ronaldo didn't also have some natural talent. They both clearly did.
He did, yeah.
And so, like, and also there are these stories that when they were younger, Quaresma was more skillful than Ronaldo, supposedly. I don't know if Quaresma's lazy. I think he's still a great player. I love him, too, and the way he kicks the ball with the outside of his foot. Honestly, I don't get it. My feet don't work like that either. I can do it,
but the funny thing is that Ronaldo only made it to the Sporting Lisbon academy because he had a friend. So he was playing with his friend on this youth team in Funchal, where he came from, and I think it was Funchal. Anyway,
Okay.
there's this match, and the Sporting Academy guys tell Ronaldo and his friend that whoever scores the most goal in the match goes to the academy, and they both score one goal. And at the end of the match, his friend and Ronaldo are basically they're through on goal. The friend dribbles the goalkeeper, but instead of scoring, he passes the ball to Ronaldo to let Ronaldo score, and he goes to the academy. Ronaldo asked him afterwards, "Why did you do that?" And his friend, and I forget his name, but his friend told him that Ronaldo, it's because you're better than me.
Wow.
Now, the funny thing was that the friend's career was basically over. He didn't become a professional football player, and then the media sought him, found him years later, and because they'd heard this story, they asked Ronaldo. He said it was true, and they asked a friend who confirmed the story. But then the media asked him, "Why do you have this? Why do you have this big house, this big car? How do you supply for your family if you just have like a normal job?" And he said, "It's all from Cristiano." It's just a fun little anecdote, but it just goes to show that even like someone as Ronaldo, who had talent in abundance, right, and who worked his socks off because he just believed that he was going to be the greatest footballer ever, even he had some luck on his side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's huge. And people they downplay luck and they downplay the mentality part. And I don't care however many videos I make, how many times I speak about this. But if you look at the greats, all of them across all sports, all walks of life, they all say the same thing about this disgusting level of belief that they all had. And they were sure it's not really even belief at one point. Belief makes it seem like it's almost a choice. These people almost seem as if there was no choice. They said, I have to do this. It's going to happen. And it is what it is. But yeah, it's also amazing to think of all the little tiny things and all the synchronicities that have to happen for somebody like Ronaldo, or
Messi.
you want to get
look,
Messi. Yeah, oh my God.
If he hadn't been taken to Barcelona, been given growth hormones, I mean, Lord knows where he would be today.
Nowhere. Probably. Nowhere.
Probably still at Newell's. I mean,
yeah.
but that's the thing. Even so even for the best players out there, luck comes into play. But I think what you said in Messi being the naturally more gifted player, I don't think even Ronaldo, well, maybe he will dispute that, but in his heart, he will probably know that Messi has the more natural gift. But I appreciate where Ronaldo has gone, because he has combined this obvious talent that he had, with this insane work ethic. And as you say, it's probably not just belief, it's something more than that. He's felt a call.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a matter of choosing for Ronaldo. He's just done it. He's just gone out there, developed himself into a machine, and he just, I think that the grind maybe comes natural to Ronaldo. Maybe it's a part of his upbringing. He came from a poor background, but it feels like it's never, he doesn't go out there and do it because he feels like he has to justify it to people. Like he has a choice. He just does it. That's who he is.
Yeah, he loves it. It's a part of his thing. And I saw, and I don't know where I saw this as well, or there was a quote at least by him saying that he was going to be an actor when he finished. But guys like Ronaldo, like I don't know what Messi's going to do when he's finished, and I hope, I don't know exactly, but I don't care what they say about the MLS. I hope both of them end up over there in some capacity.
No.
Now, listen to me first. Messi, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Ronaldo for sure is happening. Let's just be clear. He's going to be in Miami. End of story. It's going to happen, whether it happens for 6 months, whether it happens when he's 45. It's going to happen 100%. Now, if we can convince Messi that it would be a good idea for him to play on the other coast, possibly in LA, or I don't know where our biggest Argentinian, not following, but population is in the US. I'm not sure where.
Must be LA, Florida. Yeah, must be LA, right?
Florida, LA.
Florida?
I don't Mexico and LA. I don't know.
True,
Point is, if we can get both of them over there, Jay, we're talking marketing, money, the change. This is what America needs. Okay, America's going through a downtime. We could get that maybe right after the next, not this World Cup. What do we got going on? It's 2022, right? Well, yeah.
But let me put it like, I understand what you're saying, and from a marketing perspective, that would be the best thing in the world. But doesn't every country out there need Ronaldo and Messi to come and play in the same league in the same country?
But how are they going to do it? How are we going to get Messi and Ronaldo to Chile, to Universidad de Católica and Colo Colo playing? It's not happening. They don't have the money, they don't have the resources. So
but I'm I think and this is just pure speculation, I could see Italy happening. I know right now, okay, their economy is in tatters and stuff, but Inter were really they were serious about wanting Messi a couple of years back.
I didn't hear that.
Even last summer. Like they have the money. They were talking about it. Obviously.
So I just wanted to add in there, first off, I called this Inter thing, this at the beginning, way back when. I saw it happening. You see this Inter little bit of investment here, a little bit of investment, and they've got the son of, so who their owners, I can't remember the name. I should know.
Murata?
No. There's the Chinese, the backers of Inter Milan, and I don't remember now. His son, the guy who owns this conglomeration, they got tons of money. His son is the one doing a lot of the day-to-day and a lot of the stuff. There's a picture of him 433 and all this stuff. He's a really interesting guy, and he's in charge of a lot of bringing a lot of these people in and changing the whole thing. And I can see, because we all know that the world changes and that there goes cycles. It goes EPLs at the top here, then La Liga. Now it looks like, I'm telling you, Serie A is back over the next 2, 3, 4 years. I think. You find it?
Let's see about that.
I'm telling you.
Because the thing is that I know what you're saying, and it's good to see Inter Milan coming back. But right now, they're basically building their team off of a great striker, a couple of exciting youth prospects, and then Premier League rejects.
Well, rejects over there, but not anymore.
I know, but they've got Eriksen, they have Moses, Lukaku, Young. Yeah. Sanchez is probably being kicked back to Manchester United because he sucks. But I think this might be they just got to play their cards right, because right now I don't see Inter, coming out, taking the throne in Europe. Juventus also, I mean, they're a great team.
I need to throw in Atalanta? Boom.
I love Atalanta.
Come on. No one saw that coming. It's shifting. That's just more evidence that it's shifting. It's coming from the ground. You're looking at the top. You're not looking at the bottom.
But the thing is, bro, you have Atalanta. if Atalanta go far in this, well, if they're gonna
They're
finish the
already.
Champions League and
Yeah, that's true.
and they go further, Papu Gomez is probably gonna stay. Zapata is also getting old. Ilicic, okay. But some of their midfield players, Freuler, Hateboer might go.
Hmm.
I don't see Atalanta as because they don't have the financial muscle. So whenever they do well, someone's gonna just come and cherry pick all their best players, and they're just gonna it'll be what it is. I don't see Italy becoming the next European hegemonic football power because of the money, and especially after the crisis now. I think nah, I don't see it. I would love to see it happen, but I don't see it happen.
There is something to be said about now the crisis and what's going to happen, because what football looks like after this entire thing or during this thing is all up in the air just entirely. And obviously Italy being hit, I would say probably the hardest, right? In Europe, I know. I think I saw the WHO called Italy the epicenter of the virus in Europe, at least.
In Europe,
So,
yeah.
so that is, they're gonna get hit regardless. The other Milan brought Ibrahimovic back. I don't care what you say. I don't care. They brought him back. They took him from the MLS. They said, listen, he's doing great. We need to bring a star. I'm calling it right now. When Ronaldo moved to Juventus, things shifted because it's all, you know what it's like? It's like the stock market. People are panicking now. Things we don't understand what's happening in the market. People pull their money away, they pull it out, and they think, what's going to happen? Well, the same thing happened when Ronaldo and took his star power away from the El Clasico and shifted it over to Juventus for there to be something going on. And as soon as that happened, the TV, and then yada yada yada, and then what's going to happen? Boom.
But then we saw what happened in France with Neymar moving to Paris. Okay, they managed to also get Mbappe. Now they play for the same team, but it's not like the Ligue 1 has turned into this superstar league. In fact, it's PSG and then it's the rest. I mean, Monaco have really they have a very good team, Monaco, but it's not like they're this star-studded team of world-class players right now. And that's my point. Yes, Ronaldo went to the Serie A, and the Serie A has seen an uprising over the last couple of years, and it's great to see. But I just don't see them, mixing with the Premier League and La Liga yet. And I don't think they will, to be honest, because okay, yeah, Ibrahimovic went to Milan, but he's also going to leave very soon because they screwed up and fired Boban, right? So
yeah. No, I just think it works in cycles. I think it's time once again. It's been a long time. Also,
definitely.
It's been a long time because God knows how badass those teams were when Zidane and Ronaldo, Inzaghi, like you could go on. That league was unbelievable. And I know there are kids now going like, "Who's Hernan Crespo? Like, who is that? I don't know who that is." And like, yeah, well, just go look at some tapes from like 2001 and 2000, and just go look. It was unbelievable.
Gabriel Batistuta for Fiorentina.
Batigol. Oh my God.
Legend, man.
Just bro.
But that's the thing, Will. I think Inter are doing really well for themselves. Juventus, if they buy Paul Pogba, then yes, I can definitely see him bringing also some more of a star factor to Juventus. But and I might totally be wrong here. I just don't, I don't have the feeling in my stomach that Serie A is a league to be reckoned with yet, because you have Juventus that are like they're the best. Then you have Inter Milan that are doing very well. You have Lazio. Shouldn't underestimate Lazio, doing very well for themselves. Atalanta really good as well. Roma, but
yeah,
it's just
I know.
if you put Juventus head to head with the Premier League teams, okay, they can compete. Lazio might be able to get top 4, top 6 in England as well. Inter, potentially, but from there on, I see the Premier League as a stronger league, to be honest, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
You know what I think? I see the Premier League the same way I see England's national team. I think their bark is bigger than their actual bite. I think they scream about how it's going to come home, and I think they scream about how everybody in their league is the greatest, but it's built on foreigners, all right? And then in the end, normally, now clearly with the uprise of Tottenham and Liverpool becoming the super, and Manchester United, let's just calm down for a second. All right. I still think they're brilliant, but they just got it. Since Sir Alex Ferguson left, it's just not the
Oh,
same.
it's been a shit show. But you
It's
said
just
the uprising of Tottenham, it was a short uprising because now they got Mourinho in and it's crashing down.
I know this poor guy. I don't care though. He's gonna be back one of these days, or maybe I'll just die being a fan of this guy trying to be all fun.
Look, I love Mourinho. I think he's he's a very fun manager, and I actually believe that he is a nice guy. But his tactics, in my opinion at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're finished. He's done. It's over for Mourinho because his way of approaching a football match and his man management style, it just doesn't work obviously anymore. He's been found out. And I just hate to say it, but he needs to
reinvent himself.
Needs to reinvent himself.
Yes.
And I don't know if his personality, his ego will allow him to do that. And obviously he's been a fantastic coach. He's been one of the greatest managers in the last 10 years. But maybe it's time for new managers to step up and take the mantle. I would have stuck with Pochettino. I mean,
I don't see why they did. There was no real reason to shift in that massive sense.
And then we have all these young. I mean, I'm kind of big on the Bundesliga. I think the Bundesliga might be very interesting. We have all these interesting managers. We have what's his face, the guy at Leipzig.
At Leipzig, I don't. It's not Jesse Marsch. Where's Jesse at? Jesse's at Jesse. I played with Jesse Marsch, by the way. He's at is it not Leipzig, bro? I really don't know. Please tell me you're gonna find this because I always get confused on where Jesse's at. Jesse's because he was with the Red Bulls, New York, and
why can't I remember his name? Oh, Nagelsmann, of course. Julian Nagelsmann, like the one everyone's raving about. We also have the guy called Tim something from Hoffenheim. Why can't I remember these names now? That's embarrassing.
Hoffenheim is one of those teams, though. They're like
no, they're Schroeder now. That's true.
They're like Roma. They like start these runs like, oh my god, Hoffenheim. They're gonna get, and then boom, like 2 people get sold, and then it's just like, okay, well, that was fun. I enjoyed watching that rise in that season, and then it's over. Bundesliga just doesn't. But to go back to your point about France and why it didn't happen in France, because nobody. Listen, PSG has literally all of the money in the world. They have all of it.
Yes.
And the other teams in France have none of it. So it's not going to happen there. You say Monaco?
Yeah, I was thinking of Marco Rose. That's the guy. Tim, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Marco Rose. Mönchengladbach, he's at. Also very exciting manager. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Mönchengladbach. Yeah. Those teams in the Bundesliga, though, they go through the same thing. It just doesn't become as powerhouse. I mean, when was the last time Germany was truly, as a league, as a top league, the powerhouse of Europe?
12, 13. Bayern Munich went to the Champions League final. Dortmund, Bayern Munich won, lost to Chelsea, and
Yeah, so it was back then when they were really top of Europe.
I think they were doing well as a league more recently than the Serie A.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's gonna come back. I just don't see it happening. I have more of a thing for the Bundesliga. All these young managers coming up. There's the guy from Schalke also, David Wagner. Very exciting. They're relatively young in terms of being managers, 40 something, all of them. Nagelsmann is obviously he's 30.
I don't know.
Don't
know. I'm not up to date on the Bundesliga. I love the Bundesliga though. As a league though, it is brilliant. It's technical, it's sharp, it's always interesting. They have the most fans, obviously. Yes. Going to their games. I've been to plenty. I've played against Stuttgart, years and years ago in a friendly like there. It's a great league. They don't take over. Something about it just doesn't take over. I don't know. Could this entire pandemic see maybe a change in, I don't know, one of these smaller European. Okay, actually, listen to this. And I haven't Googled this. Someone just told me So I played in Serbia, and played for a club called Čukarički Stanka, which is in Belgrade. Yeah, and things in Eastern Europe can get really interesting. Let me just say that, where contracts and things don't mean what they say they mean, perhaps. And I left the club. Let's just leave it at that. I went and I signed for a club called Emeška Žilina, or Žilina in Slovakia. Right. Well, thanks to this pandemic and not playing, they do not exist anymore. This
Wow.
club, a year after I left them, with issues they're having and possible corruption, etc., possible allegedly, right? Don't sue me. Well, you can't because you don't exist anymore. But they're gone. They don't exist. They made the group stage of the Champions League. Like it would be like the Yankees just disappearing because we stopped for 2 or 3 months. I don't know what happened, dude. So yeah, no, it's fun. I'm excited about everything that's going on, but I'm obviously, like I said, when things stop and when things get whatever, I shift and I start doing everything else,
Yeah. I mean, you've tried
I
it
just
before, right?
yeah, exactly. I don't care. I don't have time to go, "Oh, well, you should that."
No.
No. Moving on. What else we got going on? Let's push forward.
What's going to happen, Will, when you retire one day as a pro footballer?
Uh, Pretty much nothing. I will be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But that's what the funniest thing is, that people ask me, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to be a translator? You speak a few languages? Like, you're going to be a coach or an agent? I am not going to be an agent. You got to be out of your mind. You're not going to be a coach because I don't want to have that extra stuff. The only job that within football that I think would be cool to have, maybe, would be director, like a sport director. I'm still not going to do it. I'm still not going to do that. Maybe there'll be some clubs that I would want to, work with in some capacity, but it's just not. I don't fit that mold. I'm not. You're not going to find me in the office.
Nah.
I would get fired. I
You're
would.
not an agent kind of guy either. You're not
Nah,
big
I
enough of
don't.
an asshole to be an agent. So
Yeah, exactly. I don't have that.
you just got to be a little bit ruthless, right? And I don't think you're that kind of guy.
Yeah.
It's just like, obviously for me, I'm not a professional football player, and I have like a career trajectory, and where I can see myself in, also 5 years. Obviously, I can't keep doing YouTube when I'm 40. At least I can't
Why
go
not?
and
Yes, you can.
yeah.
You don't want to, maybe.
Maybe not, and maybe people won't really, you know, I won't be as credible being this 40-year-old guy running around actually reviewing football's boots. So, but let's see. I don't know where I am when I'm 40. So, but it's more like when you're a professional footballer, you do have an end date. Like there is a very set end date. Like when you become 34, 5, 6, something, unless you're Ronaldo and you can play until you're 45. There is an end date when clubs don't want to, especially when you do like you, and you know you move a lot around. All of a sudden clubs don't want to sign you anymore because you're old, and you're I don't want to say but you're just a potential liability because you might be injured all season, and then they get nothing out of their money, right?
Right. Yeah. No. That's the funny thing is, it's really interesting. Each player has to do it differently. The part of the problem, though, I think we have in the world, I would say, in professional sports, but in the world, is that footballers, basketball players, they make the terrible mistake of thinking of themselves as actually footballers. I'm not a footballer. That's one thing I am. Well, guess you have to build a life, bro,
Yeah.
and most people start building their lives. They attach their identities to their careers. Obviously, they go to college and I'm going to be a doctor, and they go through that whole thing, and then they do that for the rest of their life. Well, that's great. You're not going to do that. So it's best not to identify with that if you have some sort of other aspirations. And that's what
Mm.
I've done and known well, because I was probably 23 when I realized I didn't want to have any other job that didn't allow me to work for 2 hours. Like football is a perfect job. I go outside, kick the ball in the sun with my friends some days, and walk. It's ridiculous that that's a job, you know. And it's 2 hours, and then you go eat some food, and the rest of the day, some guys just play FIFA, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the mistake that people have is that they think of their careers as a job. It's not a job. It's one of the things that you do and build. For me, it's one thing I do. It's one thing. I do a whole lot of other things. So I don't know, you know.
let's put it this way: if you got a like a really interesting big job opportunity, let's just say in the States,
Hmm.
would you just walk away from being a professional football player right now?
I get those all the time,
Okay.
and they all have to wait. Literally
Okay.
gotten two in the last year.
Okay. Fair enough.
Once, yeah. So no, it does nothing. It does nothing to me. But that's also down to my belief and understanding of what it is that I'm capable of creating and what I want to create. Because there's the thing is that people you can have the world decide for you what it is that you want to do, or you can decide and then build it yourself. And then building it yourself is going to be way harder. And so
Of
if
course.
you either decide that you want to go down that journey, or you decide that it'd be easier if I just take this way because it's already paved, and that's what's up. I get those opportunities all the time, as a matter of fact. And they're starting to be a bit more rampant. But obviously, I think when word spreads that I'm not interested in doing that, it still works out well in my favor because we could figure out a way to work together.
Sure.
We
Sure.
figure out how to do it when with still having
You
an
gotta you
ability.
gotta keep your options open. Also, after you can't play football anymore, it's good to have something. I don't want to say a fallback option, but it's just good to have stay on good terms with people.
Yeah, 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 no, yeah. People are very
Because
very
that's
rough
another
on that,
thing.
aren't
That's
they?
another thing you got to remember is that, and I don't think it's a problem for you, but it's just I think some people out there they are so obsessed with just getting out there in the world that they don't really that they kind of forget that having a network and people who like what you do, but also who like you and believe you to be a good stand up guy is really really valuable because it just opens doors that might not be opened otherwise if you just go out there and you're just a massive jerk and it's just open harder to open doors when you're a bit of a prick and I
You're
so it's good.
thinking of someone in particular,
No,
clearly, who
no,
you're not going to name. No, no. Is there someone out
not
there
at
who's
all,
just
not
like,
at all.
I
No.
hate J Mike and I hate shoes and I don't
No,
want.
no, it's not like that, but it's just more like you just see some of these guys, and I don't, I know a couple of them, and I don't know them extremely well, but we've just looked at their, careers and thought, okay, they're doing well for themselves right now, but it was maybe the short-sighted choice that they burned some bridges that they can't walk back across. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get that. And you know what's funny is as we grow and as I've been doing these things, I'll notice the same thing also from the opposite side. Say from companies who will, if you speak to a company and they say, "Hey, I would be really interested in doing something," and they go, "Who the hell are you? What is this nonsense? You joke, you kid from Kansas with your, And yes, there. That's not the norm, but it there are companies out there that say, I don't want to waste my time. They will say stuff, and clearly they don't represent the whole company, but you're thinking, this person in this position, how could you think to speak to someone like this? You have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know who other people know. The best case and the best scenario for you in all things and all walks of life is just to respect everyone all the time. And if you don't want something, that you let them know up front and be honest about it, be gentle about it. It doesn't make any sense. People that burn bridges, they do it left and right, and eventually the problem is they do get burned. They do. It does work okay in the first like year, 2 years, maybe
Mm,
even
mm,
5 years, but
mm,
then something changes,
mm.
you know and
I totally agree. I mean, that's at least for me. So far, the key to a happy life has been to be kind and be open and respectful, and recognize that not everyone feels the same way as you do. It doesn't mean you should hate them, but try to accommodate, and just be open and honest. That's what matters, and people will respect you and love you more for it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is, you can apply that to your professional life, but also to your private life. It's just
yeah.
there's no reason to be, put on your blinders and just be a jerk and think short term, because it never works out.
It doesn't. But that's I can't say it never works out. I've watched people, it does work, like you said, it works in the short term. It does. You can do it, and then somebody comes around eventually who you pissed off in the wrong way. They get a bit of power or they connect it to somebody, and then boom,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's just so. In any case, all right, people, we should start to wrap it up, even though I would love to keep going. You shout out to Boot Nerds. Do you want to show anything? What do you got going on? Chat, give a little kick out to what you guys got going on?
Basically, it's just myself and another boot nerd, a good friend of mine, Josh, who runs soccerreviews.com. We basically teamed up as like the ultimate Unisport soccer reviews boot nerd cocktail. We just we talk about
Nerds. They're nerds, guys.
yeah, total nerds, hardcore nerds, and we're proud about it. But we talk football boots and anything that goes on in the world of football boot and boots and equipment every Thursday. So if you're into football and boots and what's going on, you go give it a listen. We'd appreciate it. It's usually pretty good stuff, and it doesn't get boring most of the time. So yeah.
I love it. This is the greatest shout I've ever heard. There's usually really good stuff and it doesn't get boring. So like, listen, guys, you gotta listen. No, guys, it's really cool. Go check it out. It's like you said, Thursday. We'll make sure we link out to everything there and to them and all the stuff that they got going on. So make sure you go check that out. And as far as us, make sure to go check our stuff out, guys. We got videos and all sorts of stuff. Manchester United stuff is still getting edited. It's a nightmare because there's so much footage, and we've got a few more collabs coming up here and a bunch of other stuff. So regardless of how the world is going, everybody stay safe, and we will see you guys soon. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Later.
Good talking, Will.
All right, man. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Peace. All right. Let me hope, dear God, that I had enough. I did. I was concerned that I didn't have enough.